Hey there, it's Joy Foster, founder of TechPixies, and I am really excited. We've just moved out of our Be Brave and Sparkle podcast series, and we're moving into a new podcast series. The new podcast series that we're moving into is all about transformation. It's about personal transformation, and I care deeply about transformation. I care deeply about transformation for the women who come through our program and for the women who've never heard about us yet and are starting to hear about us. And one of the things I wanted to talk about is one of the things that comes up when people go through our free training program and people who find us at TechPixies, however they find us, whether it's through ads or through friends or whatever. When we run the free training series, one of the first things that happens is there's a group of people that go along with the free training series, and they get really excited about the fact that they're going to learn about social media. And then they show up on the first day of the free training series, and I talk about mindset. And they go, wait, I thought this was about social media. And social media is awesome. It is 100% awesome. I wouldn't be talking to you right now if I did not use social media, right? I love social media. And we teach social media because we know how powerful social media is, especially in this environment. If you think that social media is not important, and if you think that you shouldn't be using it in 2020 with the coronavirus having just happened and happening still, then you've got another thing coming, because it is really one of the only ways we can communicate with each other and connect with each other right now. But I'm excited to see my kids go back to school. I'm excited for their mental health. I'm also excited to get some time back during the day to work. I don't know about you, but if you've got children, many of you will have been working around them, particularly women, because we still live in a society where very often in a dual income relationship, the man's job will bring in more money, and their perceived value in terms of who needs to spend time working is higher than that of the woman. But I do think that for us as women, it has to stop. We have to stop being devalued in our careers. We have to start being valued. We have to start to actually ask to be paid what we're worth. And I did a lot of thinking about this, And I came to the conclusion that there's a model. And this is what I like to call the CSV model. Now, I'm working on it still, and it's something that I kind of thought through, and I want to present to you as a way of looking at this. And I think what we want to understand here, true transformation, starts in the mind. And when people sign up for a course, like a social media course, or a business course, or a copywriting course, or a sewing course, they want something from it. They want to learn how to use social media. They want to learn how to start a business. They want to learn how to sew something, which is great, because that's why you sign up for a course, right? But what I've learned over the years is that you can learn a skill, but if you don't change the way you think, you won't benefit from that skill to its fullest extent. Let me repeat that again. You could learn any skill in the world, but if you don't change the way you think about your ability to execute that skill, your ability to do that skill, your ability to properly learn that skill, if you don't change the way you think underneath, on the inside, it doesn't really matter about the skill. And I believe this with every fiber of my being, and I've seen this happen with so many women. And that's why when we do this free training series that we run, we always start with mindset. And inevitably, someone always goes, I thought this was about social media. And I always say, yes, I can teach you every social media skill you need to return to work, change careers, or start a business. But if the internal dialogue is not there, none of those skills I give you will matter. And that is why when many, many women go and take a course in something, social media, sewing, cooking, whatever, unless they believe internally that they can take that skill and use it to enhance and improve their life, and they have confidence that they are not an imposter, that they, just like everyone else, that they can learn something even if they know nothing about it. They're the ones that are going to succeed, and they're the ones that are going to take those skills and turn it into something really, really, really magical. Okay, and I see it happen all the time. So the CSV model, this is what I've come up with, and I really believe this really describes the transformation that happens when someone goes through the TechPixies program. So the C stands for confidence. So by doing a program like TechPixies Social Media Magic course, you get the confidence to do things that you didn't know how to do before on social media. So we have a lot of women who come into our program who've never started an Instagram account. We have women who hate social media, or are scared of social media, or are terrified or frightened of social media. And what they want is a friendly environment to learn how to do something step by step, click by click, so that they can get more familiar with it and be more comfortable with it, right? That's the whole point. And confidence comes from doing something you've never done before and not dying. Now that is from Jennifer Allwood's book, and I love that quote because so many women will come into TechPixies and they're scared of Facebook, they're scared of Instagram, and we show them literally step by step, click by click, exactly how to do what they want to do in all of the networks, the major networks. We don't teach TikTok, but we now teach Pinterest. We can teach you all these skills, but you've got to believe that you can use them to return to work, change careers, or start a business, and you've got to believe that they're valuable skills. So confidence is the first level. Okay, so think about it like a triangle. The bottom layer is confidence. And confidence comes from doing things you've never done before, realizing you're not dead. And if you don't have the confidence, this is from one of my other favorite mentors, if you don't have the confidence, you have to grab the courage. And that's why we've done this wonderful Be Brave and Sparkle series. And it's a wonderful series. It's a wonderful series of interviews with women who were just brave, and they just went and did stuff that they were scared of doing. They realized they didn't die, but they had the courage. They didn't have the confidence, but they had the courage, right? So you have to have the courage to put yourself out there to say, hey, I need help. And that's what Danielle McLeod's podcast was all about. I need help. I can't do this alone. And what she said in that podcast, you guys, I listen to the podcast every week too. It's an inspiration for me. What she said in that podcast was, we're not meant to do it alone. Now, some of you know this, but some of you might not. Some of you might be totally new to TechPixies. Ubuntu is our text font. We talk about, in our branding workshop, we talk about why your font matters. Well, Ubuntu is an African word, and it means people are people because of other people. We cannot live on this earth as individual beings. We are part of a much, much bigger thing, for lack of a better word. We are part of each other, right? And it's not just about our families, it's about all of humanity. And every action we take every day, we have a choice. Am I hurting or helping when it comes to humanity? Am I hurting or helping? I say that to my kids all the time. I say, be careful what you say. Is it hurtful or helpful? Hurtful or helpful? And our actions are hurtful or helpful. And this is why we're hurting right now, because coronavirus has separated us from the ecosystem we need as humans. Screens are great. Social media is great. I love it. I already said that. But there's nothing that beats that personal touch, that personal communication, those hugs, those things that we love. And I don't know about you guys, but I was like, as soon as we could start being with people again, which really for me felt like the last week, I started calling up friends. And one by one, I've spent time with friends individually. A couple hours here, a couple hours there, but just tapping back into humanity. We've been living in this world all by ourselves with our family for 7 months. March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 7 months. But going into restaurants again feels good. Feels a bit weird, but it also feels good. You know, being able to walk down the Oxford High Street and see people again. That felt good. A bit scary, but also felt good. But humanity is not meant to be that you're out there fighting on your own, right? So if you don't have the confidence, you've got to grab the courage, and then you've got to try something you've never tried before. But confidence, we know, comes 100% from trying things new that you've never done before, realizing you didn't die, then trying them again, and building, building, building. That's where being brave, that's why it works. You know, you're brave with one little thing, and then you suddenly brave with another thing, and then another thing, and another thing, and another thing. And that's how it builds. And that's what I love about it. But you have to make that internal decision that I can be brave and I can do this. And that's where people get stuck. That's where people don't move and move into this place of being confident. Because all the internal dialogue kicks in. Everything that says, I'm too old. It's too late. Right? I don't know how to use social media. It's passed me by. All those things, all those internal feelings come up. But let's just say you've overcome that. And you've said, okay, I'm going to be brave. I'm going to give it a go. And I'm going to start to work on my confidence. I'm going to learn something I've never learned before. I'm not going to die. And then I'm going to keep doing that. That's that first level. The confidence to learn a new skill, to apply the new skill, to believe that you can use that new skill to make the world a better place. That's the bottom level. So on our little pyramid, we've got confidence. And then you've got satisfaction. So what happens when you start to feel confidence in yourself and in your skill set and in who you are, you start to feel satisfied. You start to be fulfilled and you start to look for things that stimulate you. So when we did a big study with 1,000 women a couple of years ago, we studied women who'd gone back to work after having a career break. And the 3 things that they said that they wanted were to be confident in themselves and their digital skill set. They said that they wanted to be valued. They said that they were underpaid and undervalued and not as confident as they would like to be. And that is why I do what I do, because it bothers me that women do not have confidence in themselves. They do not have confidence in their ability to become the person that they want to become. And there's a lot of reasons why that happens. One of the most common reasons women lose confidence is that they stop their lives when they bring in new lives or when there are lives that are leaving this earth. So you will find that when women have a parent who is ill, they will be there. They will be involved. They will be helping. They will be taking care, and everything else will be put on hold. You will find when you have a woman who has a child. We've all been there who've had children, okay? And I know not everyone watching this has a child. But if you've been there and you've had a child, how many of you went into the childbearing years thinking nothing was going to change, and then your whole life changes, right? Just like everyone's happy and healthy in your family, and then all of a sudden they're not, and your whole life changes because you have to be there. You've got to do the hospital runs, you've got to do the doctor runs, you've got to do, and we have not shifted society yet to where women have an equal footing when it comes to those things. So that's why we get our confidence knocked. It's an external thing that happens. And then we have an internal thought and feeling that's related to that external thing that happens to us. And the further and further we get away from that dream we had of who we were going to become or what we were going to be, the further and further we get away from believing it can actually happen. So one of the most important things you can do to get back to that dream and get back to the place that you were before whatever happened in your life happened, beautiful children, the loss of a parent, an illness, mental, physical, otherwise, is to change your thoughts, because your circumstance isn't going to change. Your circumstance is the same. Your circumstance is, I had to take 5 years out to do X, Y, Z. But your thoughts on re-entering when you pass through that period, when you pass through that period of childbearing, when you pass through that period of divorce, when you pass through that period of taking care of an elderly parent, you pass through that period of mental or physical illness, what matters is what you think. What matters is what you think, because you can't get your confidence back if you don't change the way you think. Circumstances don't change, but you have control over your thoughts and how you change your thoughts to change your feelings. And we know that your feelings and your thoughts are the things that create beliefs, and that's what decides what happens to your future. That's what decides. And if you come into any course, a social media course or a business course or anything, and you haven't worked on the thoughts and the feelings to get to a place where you're ready to go again, and you believe that this new skill or this new learning is going to help you advance, it won't. You have to believe in yourself. And it's not as simple as just saying, just believe in yourself, right? Because if it was that simple, guess what? We wouldn't have this problem, right? We wouldn't have a problem we're trying to rework after centuries and centuries and centuries. This is generational. The feelings and the thoughts that we have around what we as women and our role is in society, it's generational. And we're living off of this generational thinking, and we're in a position right now, in a very wonderful position to change that. And that's also why I love social media, because look at the change that happens when people jump on to a topic, right? It keeps the movement forwards towards fixing things, and that's what matters. So when you're confident, when you have confidence, you then start to feel satisfied. You then start to seek out opportunities that fulfill you. You no longer hang on to things that don't satisfy you, because you've got the confidence to know that if this friend is bringing you down, or if that direction's not working for you, you can just go figure it out. Everything is figure outable. One of my favorite books by Marie Forleo. Everything is figure outable. But if you don't believe that everything is figure outable, it's going to be hard to change tack when you need to, change direction when you need to. We have people who come into TechPixies Social Media Magic course and they think, I'm going to become a social media manager. Then they get into social media management and they learn about it and they think, it's not really for me. But they leverage it to do something else. So a really great example of this, we have a tech pixie named Arpita, and she really was scared of technology. She came through our program, and just before I came on live, this beautiful video of her, she's Indian, beautiful image video of her popped up, and she's singing, just singing her heart out in the most beautiful, she's got a sari on and just the most beautiful language you've ever heard. And I said, can I share this on the TechPixies feed? She said, yes. Because what I know about Arpita is she came through our program to learn about social media, but what happened was she got the confidence to tap into the person that she really was, which was a singer. And she's now a singer. She now has like one of the most popular singing shows on Indian TV in the UK. That's not about social media. That's about internal transformational change. And I see it happen all the time. And it cracks me up because everyone kind of thinks, I like to tell people we tease you in with social media because you will learn social media at the Social Media Magic course. But it's not about social media. It's about you. And then it's about how once you know who you are and what you want, how you then leverage the power of social media to get it, right? And that's where you start looking for that satisfaction, that fulfillment, and those stimulating careers. And you don't settle for less. You don't settle for less. That's when you stop saying, I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to settle for friends who are going to bring me down. And I'm not going to settle for a boss who's going to bring me down. The number of people who within the first 2 weeks of TechPixies resign from their jobs is not even funny. We have a lot, and it used to scare me. It used to scare me when we'd have the free training, or we would have the current students and alumni group, and we would get or the cohort groups, and within a couple weeks, we had women go, we have a thing called #win, where you share a win. And when people share their win, that they've resigned from their job, that's their win. They're no longer settling for things that don't serve them. I used to get scared. I used to get worried. I used to go, oh my gosh, I'm responsible for these people quitting their jobs. It used to freak me out. But over time, every single individual who's done that has transformed in front of my eyes, and I have seen them go on to do amazing things. And they're in a place, once they make that decision, that they're getting rid of a toxic boss, or they're getting rid of a toxic job, or they're dare I say it, getting rid of a toxic spouse, or getting rid of a toxic friend. Once they shed those things, those toxic things that were keeping them stuck, they start to fly. And they start to say, I'm not going to settle. So it starts by being brave, taking that first brave step. And then it starts by learning and tapping into who you are and getting to the point where you don't settle anymore for things that you should not be settling for, things that are keeping you stuck, things that are preventing you from moving forwards. And here's what happens next, okay? And this is a place I spent a lot of time in. And this might relate to many people who've just finished the course, or who are, kind of halfway through it, or, haven't quite completed the loop, or just have finished it. Probably a great place for a lot of people who've just finished it. And also for a lot of people who have social media skills and feel like a total social media imposter, right? This is you. So you've got confidence, you know how to use social media for the most part. You're starting to look for fulfilling and stimulating work. You won't settle for anything less. Kind of doing that in your life as well. You're really tapping into who you are. And now you're living the dream. You're building the business that you want to build for yourself. You're getting the job you want to get for yourself. But then something happens. You don't value the transformation you've just had. You don't value the skills you have. You don't value how valuable you are for being a positive person, for being someone who looks for the good in everything. You don't value that. You don't realize that good energy is something to value. That people who chase after fulfilling and stimulating careers and building fulfilling and stimulating businesses, they are a light in this world. You want to hang out with them. You want to hang out with them because they see the possibilities, not the things that hold you back. They see everything is figure outable. You want to hang out with them. So what I did for years, and what I see happen to a lot of women, is they get the skill set, they quit the job, they go launch their business, and they just go. They're ready to go. And then you ask them, what are you going to charge your client? And they want to charge 200 pounds for a month's work. I'm only laughing because I did it myself. And then you realize there's a disconnect. They have the confidence, they're chasing their dreams, but they're undercharging. And you realize that they're charging less than the plumber, they're charging less than the cleaner, they're charging less than other people that are working hard and doing great jobs, but don't have the skill set and the confidence that they've now got with their new skills. So we have to have a conversation about value, and that's the top of the triangle. So you have confidence, and you have satisfaction, and then you have value. And where a lot of women hang out, myself included, for a very long time, is in a place of confidence and fulfilling. They're chasing a dream that they want and they love, and they've got this amazing skill set that goes with it, but they don't value themselves enough to charge what they're worth. And you see them undercharging over and over and over again. And eventually the energy that comes from their confidence and that comes from chasing a fulfilling and stimulating career. And that comes from all that internal work that they did to get to that place in the first part starts to come and fall back. So a huge piece of work that we're going to start doing at TechPixies is about helping women to value themselves. And when you feel valued as an individual, that's when you can charge what you're worth. That's when you can not hesitate and someone says, what's your day rate? And you say, my day rate is 500 pounds or 1,000 pounds or whatever that day rate is. That's when you stop working for $5 an hour or $1 an hour or 5 pounds an hour or 1 pound an hour. Because if you actually added up all the hours that you spend working for yourself or for someone else, you'll find that compared to your paycheck, whatever that is from somebody else or even from yourself, that you're not paying yourself very much. And in fact, when I built Made with Joy, which was the company I built before TechPixies, I think we worked out at one point, my salary, my hourly wage was 83 pence for the amount of hours I was working and the amount of money I was bringing in. I had amazing skills. I was doing something I loved, but I didn't value myself. So this is an invitation to those of you who are alumni who've gone through the Social Media Magic program to tap back in to that internal mindset in order to start to value yourself. And if you've never even got to the place where you're confident in your digital skill set, or you're satisfied with your career, or you love what you're doing, then I would invite you to come into our Social Media Magic program. And if you missed the free training, that's okay. You can sign up for our book. We have a great book called Social Media Success, and it walks you through how to get your mind in the right place to start moving towards the confidence and satisfaction. But to me, the big key piece that we're going to be really honing in on for the rest of the year is value. And we've talked about having your own personal values, but I want you guys to really start thinking about feeling enough, feeling valued, like I am valuable, I am enough. It's so important because that is the last piece of the puzzle. It's the last piece of the triangle. Confidence, satisfaction, value. And a woman who has confidence and satisfaction and value is unstoppable. You cannot get in her way. Because not only does she know she's got an amazing skill set, not only is she following her dreams, but she says, I'm worth it. I'm worth following my dreams. I'm worth what I'm doing. And once we as women step up and value ourselves, the rest of the world will take notice. If you don't value yourself, the world is not going to value you. If you don't ask for a raise, you're not going to get one. If you don't ask for the job you want to do at the company you're at, you're not going to get it. If you don't start asking people to pay you for your services or your product what they are worth, you're not going to get it. No one that I know of has ever come to me at TechPixies and said, hey, Joy, I want to pay you twice what you want to sell the course for because, I value it that much. It's actually the other way around. Most of the time we have to convince people of the value because they look at the price of a course that's 2,397 pounds and they just think, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. And we think, well, it's not that much money if you add 10,000 pounds to your bank account every year for the next 10 years with the skills we give you. That's 100,000 pounds you just put back in your bank account over the next 10 years. 2,397 pounds feels like a lot. And we have 12 payment plans so that people can pay over time. But that's what happens. People only value stuff if you value it first. I know the course is worth more than what we're asking for. because we have competitors that sell the course for more than we do. But I also know we've got a gap between what women believe they can spend on themselves and what they're actually, able to do. Having to go through permission. Can I just say, you do not need someone else's permission to invest in yourself. Full stop. Now, I think you should get people involved in the conversation if you want them to help you. It goes a little bit smoother, but you don't say, can I do this? Because they're going to say no. They don't have the internal dialogue you've got. When you want to do something, you need to go to someone and you need to say, hey, this is going to impact you. This is going to affect you. But it's really what's on my heart. It's really what I want to do. And I'm going to need your support. I'm going to need you to take the kids a couple hours every day. I'm going to need you to give me half a day every weekend. Just for me to do what I need to do. It's going to be hard, but I need you to help me because I believe it's going to make our family better off. Right? That's a conversation you can have. But you don't ask for permission. You don't say, can I do this? You have to get to the place where you know that by doing it, you are going to make life better for your family, and therefore it's better for everyone if you do it. And you hope that people get on board with you. And you ask questions like, what would it take for you to get on board with me on this? Because this is what I really want to do. And it all starts with you. It all starts inside. Nothing else can replace the thoughts and the feelings you have. The circumstances are the circumstances. How you think about it matters. Thanks, ladies. Have a great day.